The naval battle of Vella Lavella, fought on the night of October 6 to 7, 1943, marked the final surface engagement in the Solomon Islands campaign. The battle was part of the larger Pacific War, 1941 to 1945, and took place near the island of Vella Lavella in the western Solomon Islands. It was a relatively small but significant engagement between the United States Navy (USN) and the Imperial Japanese Navy (IJN). The battle resulted in an American tactical victory, frustrating Japanese evacuation efforts from the island. Background: following the New Georgia campaign, the Allies, led by General Douglas MacArthur and Admiral William F. Halsey, continued their island-hopping strategy to encircle and neutralize the Japanese stronghold at Rabaul. The island of Vella Lavella, located northwest of New Georgia, was targeted for occupation to support the Allied push into Bougainville. By August 15, 1943, the U.S. 14 Corps, supported by the Third Fleet, had landed on Vella Lavella with minimal resistance. The Japanese, realizing their position was untenable, decided to evacuate their remaining troops from the island. On the night of October 6 to 7, 1943, they launched an operation to withdraw approximately 600 personnel using destroyer transports. The U.S. Navy, seeking to disrupt this movement, dispatched a force of 6 destroyers under the command of Captain Frank Arne Walker. Order of battle: United States Navy (USN) Task Force, led by Captain Frank R. Walker. Destroyers: USS Selfridge DD 357, flagship; USS Chevalier DD 451, USS O'Bannon DD 450, USS Ralph Talbot DD 390, USS Taylor DD 468, USS Lavella DD 448. Imperial Japanese Navy (IJN) Task Force, led by Rear Admiral Matsuji Ijuin. Destroyers: Yugimo, flagship; Shiger, Samidare, Murasame, assigned to evacuation. The battle. As the Japanese evacuation force approached Vella Lavella, U.S. reconnaissance aircraft spotted their movements. The American destroyers, using superior radar technology, maneuvered to intercept the Japanese task force. At approximately 22:30, the two forces engaged in a fierce night battle. Initial contact and exchange of fire. The American destroyers launched torpedoes and gunfire at the Japanese formation. The lead Japanese destroyer, Yugimo, was heavily targeted and eventually sunk after being hit by multiple shells and torpedoes. However, before sinking, Yugimo managed to fire torpedoes, striking USS Chevalier, which suffered catastrophic damage and began to sink. Chaos and counterattack. With USS Chevalier disabled, USS O'Bannon attempted to avoid collision but instead rammed the crippled Chevalier, temporarily disabling both ships. Meanwhile, the Japanese destroyers Shiger and Samidare launched a counterattack, firing torpedoes at the remaining U.S. forces. Withdrawal and aftermath. Realizing they were outgunned and facing superior radar-equipped enemy ships, Admiral Ijuin ordered his forces to retreat. The Americans, having lost USS Chevalier, were unable to pursue effectively. However, they had successfully prevented a significant portion of the Japanese evacuation and sunk Yugimo. Aftermath and strategic impact. Although the Japanese evacuated around 600 troops, they suffered the loss of a valuable destroyer and were forced to abandon further attempts to reinforce or hold Vella Lavella. The battle marked the end of major surface engagements in the central Solomon Islands, as the U.S. Navy had successfully established dominance in the region. The Allies would soon turn their attention to Bougainville, continuing the offensive that would eventually lead to the neutralization of Rabaul and the elimination of Japan's strategic hold in the South Pacific. Conclusion. The naval battle of Vella Lavella was a relatively small but tactically significant engagement in the Pacific War. It demonstrated the increasing superiority of American radar-guided night warfare tactics, the growing attrition of Japanese naval forces, and the inevitable collapse of Japan's control over the Solomon Islands. Although both sides suffered losses, the battle was another step in the Allied advance toward Japan, setting the stage for the upcoming campaigns in the Gilberts, Marshalls, and Marianas. The engagement remains a testament to the effectiveness of Allied naval coordination, technology, and strategic planning during the Pacific War.